That'd be
time. So what's your format for this? We just chat?
We just, we'll
Perfect.
all ask questions, and you can say anything you want. And this is Amy Groves, by the way.
Right.
You know, okay. See you, Swati.
See you, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, get this.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. This is Clark coming at you again with the herd. Part 2, we'll call it. Anyways, we have with us a guest here today, Amy Grove. She's running for assembly, and we'll be asking her a few questions and giving her the opportunity to explain her platform and what she's all about. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you so
Nice
much for
to see
having
you.
me.
Sure. And this is Ed Euling joining us again. Chief question asker or whatever, interrogator, if you will. But,
Awesome.
at any rate, welcome to the show, and let's get rolling.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for coming today, Amy. Which district you're running for assembly? Which district are you running, and where is it? Why did you decide to do this to yourself?
Oh, it's so many, good questions there. I'm out in Henderson, like from St. Rose and Eastern all the way to downtown Henderson. And honestly, there's only one huge reason why I decided to run. It's because the Republican who currently holds the seat voted for 32 new taxes, including the commerce tax.
A Republican?
A Republican voted for all of these taxes. So I had to run against him. I just had
You
to.
could. And did he promise not to vote for taxes?
He actually did in his mailers 2 years ago. I still have copies. He literally says, I oppose all business taxes and new taxes. He put it in writing, and then he votes for them.
And the most offensive one, I think, is that commerce tax that was voted down 4-1, and then they resuscitated it from its death.
The pits of hell, they got that one from.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They did.
And he voted for that, right?
He did vote for it.
Yeah. Which what's the number of your district?
29.
29. Okay. And then is the election decided by the primary, or is there a Democrat running also?
There's a Democrat running. The gal running is the one who Stephen beat out to win the seat. She was the assembly person before him.
And what is her name?
Leslie Cohen.
Oh,
So she was appointed, 4 years ago, when, was it Sheila, I forgot her name. She won the election, and as soon as she won the next day, she dropped out and said, I quit, so they could appoint a Democrat. So,
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Crazy shenanigans.
Wait, a Republican won the election.
This was a Democrat. So on the Democrat side, they had Assemblywoman Sheila, and I've forgotten her name. She had won the assembly race, 6 years ago. She was Assemblywoman for 2 years. She ran again, won the seat, and as soon as she won the seat, she resigned. So, I mean, it's election day, it's 9 o'clock, she wins, she resigned an hour later. So then that next week, the Democrats on the commission, they could appoint whoever she wanted as her replacement.
Except they had to put in a Democrat.
Correct. Well,
Okay.
They could have done a Republican, but why would they?
No, I don't think
It's only
you can.
fair
I
to
think
do
it
for
has to
the
be the
race
same
that,
party.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
so that's how she got.
So yeah, Leslie Cohen got in by an appointment, and so 2 years ago when the election happened, the Republican beat her out.
Oh,
And now I'm looking to knock the Republican out
yeah,
as a Republican.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so,
Are you
and
going
it's,
to resign, or are you going to stick around when you win?
Are you kidding? I am gonna stay and fight.
so you're ready to fight.
Yes.
And what are you going to fight for?
For lower taxes and a smaller government. Because this last, you know what the commerce tax did? It created an IRS division.
It's great. Yeah, we have a Nevada
Like, I want
IRS.
that gone. We
Yeah.
don't need an IRS for
We sure
that.
don't. And every business is going to have to fill out this form.
I already got my form for my company.
Oh, you did?
Yep, the commerce tax doesn't affect us yet, but you have to fill the form out no matter if you
Right.
made $1 or 10 million.
Yeah, right.
So yeah,
that's
we got
right.
our form.
Really?
Of course.
Oh, but no, but they told me they didn't have it prepared yet. They just had what do they call it, a draft of the form.
Well, I got something last week. For the last 6 months, every month it seems like we get a letter that says it's coming.
Yeah, right.
And then something came last week and I just sent it to my accountant. I didn't read a lot, but it had forms and lines and.
Yeah, right, that's.
What did you
Maybe
make?
that's the draft. Maybe they send out the draft to get comments.
Yeah.
Because it takes effect on the 1st of July. Yeah, right. People are gonna be, when they see this, they're gonna be shocked. I hope that we can inspire or provoke the business community to just revolt against this outrageous tax. And because they could have influence with their employees and with other people.
Correct.
It's just the casino industry and the mining industry that are exempt from it.
Correct.
And everyone else is hit,
But if we
almost
get
everyone else is hit
together
by it.
collectively as small business, we trump the big business. All these small businesses have to get political this year. Because I don't know the percentage, but most small businesses stay out of it. They gotta get active now.
Yeah, and the Chamber of Commerce has totally betrayed them. They endorsed all the people that broke their promise, all the people that voted for this. It's just absolutely incredible.
And it's not just the Metro Las Vegas Chamber, it's the Henderson Chamber.
Oh, they did the same thing?
They did the same thing
Oh my
last
God.
week. They did the exact same slate that the Metro Chamber did.
No way.
Uh-huh. They
No.
did. No, seriously, they did. Exact same slate.
Can we see that on the website? Of the
Yeah,
Henderson
they
Chamber?
put it out a couple of days ago on the Henderson Chamber's website.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just so counterintuitive, counter everything.
Yeah, 'cause I
So-
actually interviewed with the Henderson Chamber, because I mean, it's literally like 4 blocks from my house. I walked, and I asked them, I said, are you gonna be different than the Las Vegas Chamber? Do you have different ideals, different beliefs? Because I wanted to know if I was wasting my time, and they said, no, we're absolutely different. We support small business. We want everyone to stay in business and grow and thrive.
They told you that.
Yes, and then they turn around and endorse everyone who voted for the commerce tax.
And when you talked to them, did you mention that you didn't think the commerce tax was such a great idea?
Correct. Most people were positive with that, but one gentleman said, I need to be more open-minded because sometimes we do need to increase taxes. And
Well-
that's fine and good, but we're talking the commerce tax, not something else.
Yeah, right.
And I'm a taxpayer protection pledge signer, so it's in writing already. I'm not for new taxes, so don't tell me I need to be open-minded. We
Yeah.
need to learn how to spend better.
Spend less.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's right. So in addition to taxes, what are some of your other issues?
Oh, it's gotta be education. Because
Okay.
we're not turning out stellar kids right now.
Even in Henderson?
I think we're a little better in Henderson, but the graduation rate's still very low.
It is, even in Henderson?
Yeah,
Because Henderson wants, they're breaking up the school district or decentralizing it, I guess is a better term. And Henderson wants to have their own school district, and because the schools are relatively high performing there. But you're saying even that, they're not performing so well.
They're not performing as well as they should be.
And why do you have that opinion?
Well, you look at the overall Clark
Do you
County
have kids
school
in
rate.
the?
I do not.
No, okay.
And I'm actually a product of the school system, just
Oh,
one
really?
that
Uh-oh.
I've been out for like 25 years now, and back when we didn't have metal detectors to get through the front doors. I actually like public school. I think I did fine, but my parents were involved, and my friends' parents were involved, and today they're just not as involved, and we're blaming teachers. The parents.
Your parents aren't involved so much?
No, right now other parents are involved. 'Cause I
Oh.
don't have kids, but it just
Okay.
seems like, from what I hear, even in Henderson, I know a lot of homeschoolers, so that's a different thing to talk about. But they're just dropping the kids off, and they're expecting the schools to do everything. And no school and no teacher can do everything for your kid. You've got to teach them some things yourself.
Yeah.
Whether it be respect, the ability to want to learn. I know we're just kind of failing.
Yeah. And so what would you do what would you do to change it? Senator Roberson added $1.5 billion in taxes in money a large part of that goes to the schools.
Part of the
And this is going to solve all the problems.
But it wasn't that commerce tax money for the schools actually put to the general fund with no
Well,
guarantee
it
it's
does,
gonna
it does
get
go to
there?
the general fund, but then they allocated more for specific school programs. As I understand it, like $600 million of the $1.5 billion in increased taxes went to the schools. And so their solution is always more money. We want more money. What's your solution?
Well, it's gotta come down to better spending to start, smarter spending. I met a mom a couple weeks ago, just knocking on doors. She said she had a class, they were reading a pretty classic textbook in a high school class, and they had to share them when they got to class. They had a few iPads, they would share, read passages. And she goes—
They would share what?
They would share an iPad, and
Yeah.
so each of the kids would read a few paragraphs of the story. They'd pass the iPad to the next child, they would read it. So no one had a book to take home to read. So they're supposed to be able to read these paragraphs in school, be able to take their test, do whatever homework they need to do from it, just based on a reading in the class. So this mom went to the teacher and said, why don't we have textbooks? Why don't we have this book? And the teacher goes, it's too expensive, we don't have money. So this mom went out to Amazon, got on her computer for $8 each, bought everyone in the class a book,
Okay.
brought them to the school, and the teacher goes, thank you, we couldn't have ordered them because we'd have to pay $40 a book. So
We'd have to pay for it.
right, so if that's why we don't have textbooks, we gotta do something different. If Amazon is a cheaper source for textbooks, but the way they, do requisitions means they have to go through these approvals and certain suppliers, and gosh only knows who's a friend of who that's raising the price. If we spend smarter, maybe we could at least have a textbook in the class. Which,
Oh.
my husband and I do foster parenting, and over the years we've had a few high schoolers. It shocks us that there's no textbooks. Because, when you
Really, there are no textbooks?
no textbooks. And we were baffled because this poor gal, our oldest one we had was 15. We checked her in at the foster care, and it was across town on the east side. And we're like, we need some books because she probably needs reading. And they're like, we don't have books. There's no books. I said, but this girl's gonna fail. She's in 9th grade. She has zero chance because this is her 3rd high school and she's not had a book. I said, we can't even help her get prepared. So we actually had to go out and buy the book so we could try and catch her up to where the school was.
Oh, boy.
And I don't understand no textbooks, but let's get all the teachers and everyone iPads instead of a textbook. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I went to school before technology. For better or worse, we actually had books and we had things to do. I think technology is hurting us because we're not getting the basics anymore. Because those little iPads are very expensive. And those that do get them have the internet connected to them. So every month there's an extra, I'm just guessing $50. I don't know the exact price. I know mine's $50 every month on my iPad. So let's say you have, in your school you have 30 teachers with iPads and now you have an extra expense. How is that helping the kids in the classroom?
Yeah.
There's so many things we could do to change, and it's with the same money we have, but it has to get to the classroom because the teachers don't have the tools they need. And there's some amazing teachers out there, and there's some amazingly bad teachers out there. Maybe a little merit system or a way to get rid of the bad. But there are some great teachers, and I don't think we ever hear about them and how we can help them do a better job. It's not just more money. More money doesn't fix anything.
Yeah.
We have to actually get in the classroom and help and fix and do it with the resources we have. I believe it can be done. Break up the schools, don't break up the schools, I don't care. It can be done to make sure these kids, if we gotta get back to a 70 to 80% graduation rate, what we do is appalling.
Yeah,
What
right.
Clark County average is 50-something%.
Right.
Henderson's, yeah, it is better, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be.
We accept 40% failure rate overall, and for some students, 60%. In some student categories, 60% failure rate.
And we don't need to accept that.
No.
We gotta fix it.
Okay.
I'll never tell you I have all the answers, but I know a lot of smart people that can help us fix this.
And do you approve of any of the changes that they made in the school program, in the education?
Like Common Core?
No, well, I don't think, did they accept Common Core?
We've been using Common Core for a couple of years. There's a big
When you
push to
say
get
we,
rid of
you're
it.
talking about
Clark
Clark
County
County School
yeah.
District? Oh, really?
There's a big push to get rid of it,
Okay.
but it's tied into federal money.
But I'm thinking more of the decentralization of the school district, for example, so that individual schools it looks like the individual schools are gonna be given the money and they make the decisions at that level. I know that Henderson wanted their own school district, but I think they're doing it by school, I'm not sure.
That would
Or
actually be
Or
great.
the ESAs, the education savings accounts.
Oh, I like the ESAs, very
It
much.
gives total choice.
Total choice. And, you know, we've had a lot of customers, because I own a real estate company, we do HOA management. We've had people come in and I've talked to them about their kids, because we get to know people. I've had plenty of people not know about this, that have their kids in ESAs, because they live in like the Whitney area, which is kind of a low-rated school, and they're paying it out of pocket. I got moms working second jobs, and I'm like, hey, sign up for the ESAs. You've already done your 100 days. I mean, it's a great program. Parents that want to be involved can get a better education for their kids.
And so they've done the 100 days, and so you're suggesting that they do what?
So once you've done the 100 days in school, public school, you can get the 5,100. I know it's debated right now with the lawsuit, but the idea is then you get your $5,100 check to go for education. So if you move your child into a charter school, Montessori school, some kind of other school, you would have money to pay tuition.
Yeah, and so they're finding schools that $5,100 will be enough?
No.
Because one of the criticisms is that it's only the rich kids that are taking advantage of this program
Oh,
or
I would
signing up
disagree.
for it.
There are so many grants, whether it be a state grant, whether it be a private grant, whether it be a scholarship from the school directly. There are so many ways to find that money if you want your child to go.
And is that your experience, that people are able to find that money?
Absolutely, because
really?
the few moms that I actually helped that had come in my office, we actually found them scholarships. And one of them was $9,000 for the year. We actually found scholarships. We actually got her $5,000 in private money to go with her ESA. And now, of course, the ESAs are tied up in court.
Yeah, right.
No, there's money there. You just have to be resourceful. We have this amazing thing called the internet. Google scholarships for private schools. I mean, there's so many ways to Google. You can go grants all
I thought
over.
you didn't like iPad and internet.
No, I like
Oh.
it if you're using it personally.
Okay.
Come to my house. I got all kinds of these.
Okay.
There's so many scholarships. My husband and I do a scholarship for kids like myself. Give out $1,000 a year, $500 a year. Find the scholarship and apply.
Really?
And it goes for all ages.
And you give the scholarship yourself, or you find the scholarship?
Well, we do both. For this gal, I helped because my husband has a special criteria. It has to be military related. He does. But for the two other moms, we went on the internet and found ones that fit them.
Really?
And I just helped
Oh.
them apply because they were very
Oh,
nervous.
very good.
So there's so many people in this community that want to see success, but you have to fight a child in a school of their choice and have to worry about tuition.
Yeah. Okay.
They're just not the med. Has quite an extensive scholarship program. The Las
really?
Vegas Day School has a program. So if someone's coming in with this $5,100, they're going to hundreds of thousands of dollars every year in scholarships
I
to
see.
their
Oh.
school. They have fundraisers to raise money just to get.
And so they won't just pick the high performing kids, they'll pick some low performing also? No.
Correct.
You have to meet performance criteria.
We're definitely from low-income neighborhoods.
I see.
I was helping. GPAs didn't matter for the schools they were choosing.
Oh, really? Oh.
Schools that just want to teach you.
Choice and the main issue
Yeah.
and parental that. what's another issue?
It's a regulation issue, and more of a, we need less regulations in a lot of things. For example, business licenses. You know, I'm a real estate broker, and my office is in unincorporated Clark County, so I have to have a state of Nevada license, and I must thank all of those that voted for the increase. I love paying double for my new state business license. And then I have to have a Clark County business license, okay? And the Clark County business license is based on volume, so every year I get to pay more because I try to do better every year. Now, that should take care of it, but I'll go to Henderson sometime and I'll sell a house. Or I'll go to North Las Vegas and I'll sell a house. I am supposed to now have a business license for every city that I go into.
Oh, really?
So I have to have 5 business licenses. And when I have, say the city of Henderson as a real estate broker, now all of my agents under me are required to have a business license whether or not they do work in Henderson.
Really?
Correct. So now I'm spending upwards of $5,000 a year in business licenses because I on occasion go to another city and do work. And it's not that my office moved.
$5,000 a year?
Between all 5 of my business licenses, yes.
Really?
Because some of the cities are, one of them is $1,800 a year. I forgot which city that was. It's based on volume and sometimes how many employees I have.
And so you're a broker. You're not an agent.
Technically an agent. I'm like the agent of all agents. I'm above the agents, so I am a real estate agent by definition, but I
Okay.
own the company, so I paid a little more to get a broker's license.
I see.
So
Yeah.
I'm in charge of them.
Yeah.
So, you know, and all of them underneath me have to go get their own license. And most businesses, like if you have an air conditioning company, I feel bad for them too because it's the same thing. They go to fix an air conditioning in Henderson, they have to have it. But their license covers all their employees. Because my agents are independent contractors, they all have to
Theirs
have
doesn't.
the same licenses. So office-wide, we're pushing $30,000 in business licenses, and we're not doing anything different than the air conditioning guy. Because-
And how much were these fees, say, 10 years ago or 5 years ago?
Oh, 5 years ago, they've doubled. Absolutely doubled in 5 years.
Huh.
Because when we first started doing this 11 years ago, I don't even remember paying $1,500 a year.
Yeah, it's incredible how the public sector is grabbing more and more money, and how is the private sector is the only one that develops money. How can the private sector do that?
Correct.
It's like a parasite on your back. It's taking everything and choking you, and then they want more when you are producing less.
They always want more, and if we were to start our business today, I don't know that I would do it. I might really rethink it because I know more than I did then, and I know how expensive it's going to be. But we're spending upwards of a third of our income now on fees to be in business, fees and taxes. It's a good combination.
Really?
And I don't understand it. And my HOA managers who are employees, the state is now trying to tell me they need to be independent contractors and they need the licenses. But they're employees. They come in from 9 to 5. I dictate what they do. They're employees by definition.
Usually they want to classify people as employees, not as
Right,
independent
but now
contractors.
for this-
But now, with the new system, they want to classify, because then they get more business licenses.
Correct, and then they get to come around and audit us to see if we're doing it properly, and if we've done it improperly, then they can make us pay more of the unemployment taxes,
Yeah,
if they think they should be employees, not independent.
right.
What's their authority? What's their enforcement of it? How do they make you do this?
The laws that have been created by the legislature.
Correct, and we're honestly scared when someone calls up and wants to do this. We're terrified of any kind of audit. And when I ran 2 years ago, I got audited by everybody. I hadn't been audited in 10 years.
I don't understand who's charging these fees. I don't get it.
It's all state driven in some fashion.
Each geographical area, each city that can.
Well, who
or each
makes
county.
the rule didn't used to be that every salesman pays a license fee, right?
Correct.
Where did that legislation come from that made every license?
It's come about in the last 7 to 8 years.
I have a
and-
guy that owns a convenience store, he sells Coke, right? Now he needs a license to sell Pepsi. Now he needs a license to sell ginger ale.
Yeah.
Now he needs a
Really?
license to sell.
Why?
Huh?
No, why would he need that?
Because you need a license to sell everything. Business
Not the
licenses-
individual products.
Business licenses now don't just mean you can do business. You have to have a license to do everything. If you want to sell cigarettes, you need a license.
Well,
If you wanna
yeah,
sell-
but not to sell Pepsi.
If you want to have a car wash, you need
That's
a license for the
food.
car wash. If you're in business, but I was in a storage business, I need a license to sell boxes. I had to have a box license.
Correct, that's why it's all categories.
Yeah,
When we
there's a
change-
subdividing the categories more.
So where
To
were
report.
these categories established and what authority they established them?
The county commissions of each of the cities gave themselves the authority and they made the
Gave
laws.
themselves, whoa, back up, gave themselves
Yeah.
authority.
They
Tell
said
them
it's-
that you're giving yourself authority because we the people, we make the rules, not you. You don't give yourself authority.
But I don't have the money to fight them.
You're not fighting them, you're just ignoring them. Until they can prove to you that who they are, who are you? I don't know who you are. Show me you have the right to do this.
They're pretty intimidating.
I don't know.
It's terrible. When if they want to get you, they have means of doing it.
Right,
Yeah.
and so they make their laws, with whatever authority they feel they're given in all of our
No,
codes.
I call it the golden rule. You're the one that writes the check to pay these fees. I don't write the check. So it's the
Yeah.
golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule.
Right, they all have more gold because they're county and state employees. They've got all the taxpayer money behind them. If I suddenly have to go get my lawyer involved, I'm the one writing the
Why do you
check
get
to
a
fight.
lawyer involved? They don't have the authority to do this to you. You write the check, don't write the check.
But
Don't
then
write
you
the-
don't,
yeah, that'd be scary.
the investigator comes out and
Ooh, for what?
decides that you don't have a license in this category, you're working in that category, and then all these fees and penalties mount
And in
up.
order to get my real estate my broker's license, I had to sign away rights. I had to give the state of Nevada the right to come into my office anytime and investigate anything for any reason, or I wouldn't get my real estate license.
That's unconstitutional, I would say.
I would agree, but I wanted a real estate license and I didn't have the ability to fight them. So we all do
So
this.
don't get a real estate license and sell real estate anyways.
Yeah, and then what?
Well, what? They don't have.
Then go to
authority.
jail.
How? Who's gonna put you in jail?
These
I don't know,
people-
but they will.
They will, there's no question
They've
about it.
instilled enough fear that there are some things that we will just do because there's 17,000 agents and every single one of us goes through
I need to
this.
become a real estate, I'll straighten it out.
And then all they do, if people that do wrong and don't have licenses, they'll fine them a lot of money. And then
You
they
don't pay
just,
'em.
then they don't pay them and they don't have a license, so there's no jurisdiction.
Right, so they don't have jurisdiction, so you get the money, you're doing fine, you ignore them. They have to prove that who they are and what they're doing, it has to be constitutional. If it's not constitutional, they lose by our rights.
It's, we just go through the audits. Sadly enough on this, we just let it go.
Well, it ain't,
We gotta pick the battles.
well,
The personal business property tax is one I've been fighting them on for 5 years. That's the one where you buy your stuff, like you buy your new computer for your work, you pay sales tax, and then every year you have to pay more tax on top of it to the county for your business property tax. They're really enforcing that one now too, and I've been fighting that one for 5 years. They actually put me in collections for not paying it. And I'm like, prove I bought stuff.
You're like, what?
I asked them to prove I bought anything. And they said it doesn't matter, we walked in and saw a copier, so you have to pay tax on it for the life you own it.
Really?
That's the battle I've been picking.
I've had businesses and I've fought them on every step of the way and I've won on every single
Yeah.
one. Because I ignore them and nothing happens.
Well, get into these fields and go
That's
have
what I
a,
said, I just
have a
said, I'm
heyday,
gonna
have
go
a,
real estate.
have a
Yeah.
I'll
battle.
straighten it out, don't worry, it'll be straightened out.
It's a
in no
messed
time.
up system. It's way too overregulated for what we do.
I've taken on the post office of all people because I wouldn't fill out these forms that they demand that you fill out every month to allow people to get the mail at your location, you know, like in mailboxes. Well, the post office doesn't like that because you're competing with them to some extent. So I had the postal inspector from my district and 3 big gigantic black boxers come in as whatever they were. And I said to this guy that was there to intimidate me, I said, excuse me, who are these people? Oh, they're just here to help me out. If I, You don't need any help. Why don't you just tell them to go stand outside? You know, well, they had to go outside. I said, what are you doing? You know, and I threw them all out of the office. That was it. I haven't heard any more about it. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to tell me that I'm going to take my time to fill out a form every month with the same information on it and keep sending it to you every month. Who's paying me for that? I get paid for what I do. Who's paying me? Oh, you don't. No, you do, or you don't get it. That's period. Goodbye.
But they're paying at least $200 an hour to have all these people come over every month and get it.
But they're not getting anything. They stopped. They stopped coming around because I just throw them out.
Good.
People say they have authority. But they say that, and they don't have authority. When push comes to shove, you find out they're nobodies. But they'll say they are. Who are you asking? It's like if you call up the sales department, say, I'm buying this copier in Georgia, and I'm only gonna use it in my office in Georgia, I'm never gonna bring it to Nevada. Do I have to pay sales tax on that? Oh, yes, you do. Well, yeah, you're asking the fox guard in the hen house if you have to do something. You don't even call them. I mean, you know, of course you're gonna get the wrong answer.
Yeah.
But if
So
we
you-
don't play this game with them, they will put a cease and desist on our front door and then we're out of business.
No, who says you're out of business? Well, who gives them the authority to do that? I would question everything.
They
This
shut
is
us, they
totally
shut us down a few
unconstitutional.
years ago because we wouldn't, it's a cute ring. We, in our building, we have sprinklers that are of course mandated and we pay $300 a month to the water
How tall is
district.
your building?
What's that?
How tall is your building? How many floors?
It's a one-story, it's
One
just,
stories, they don't need sprinklers.
it was built with sprinklers. I just bought it a
Oh,
few
well,
years
but
ago.
irregardless, you don't have to have them just because it came with sprinklers.
Yes,
don't
you
have
do,
to have-
once they're in there, you
The
can't
fire
get rid of
department
them.
shut me down when I bought the building and I said I refuse to pay for the quarterly service of a fire line that I don't need.
Yeah.
And the water district charges me $300 a month for the privilege of having the pipe in the event we ever need the service. So I quit doing it and they shut me down.
How do they shut you down?
They just came up and said, you will lock the doors right now or we'll call the police until you get
Okay,
back
call
on
the
service.
police.
You can't always do that though when you have employees and a business. I can't make the stand.
They can't do it either. Believe me,
Except
they
they're the
can't
ones
do
with
it.
the badges and the guns.
That's fine, but they're out of their league, they're out of their authority, they're out of their jurisdiction. They have no sense.
But
Well,
this
do
is-
some of these things.
Well,
This is
yeah,
what they
I'm
do to
just
us.
finding out about
Win
it
some of
now.
these battles.
I'll make a phone call in about a half hour. I'll
So
be straight
those are the
out.
two battles out of all the ones personally that I can pick. Those are my two battles that I've been
You
finding.
need to run for the legislature or something, get this straightened out.
But see, that's county commission. That's county level. That has nothing
Yeah,
to do
but
with
the
the state
state
level.
can dictate things. Like the state could say, you know, like we have things all backwards. We reward bad behavior
Yes.
and penalize good behavior. For example, if they really wanted jobs, what they could say is, no county or no city can charge any business tax. If you're in the zone to do it, you set up your business, you go do your business. And that would stimulate business incredibly. But no, they're interested in collecting the things, in making people into criminals, and in doing things like this. This fire line charge is absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
It hits. This was imposed back in 2012, and it affects about 9,000 of the 600,000 connections that the water authority has, and it influences a group of people that is very politically unpowerful. They don't have strength.
Correct.
It's small business people and small property owners who get hit by this outrageous charge. And everyone needs the pressure. The fire hydrant out here needs that pressure, but the cities aren't charged this amount of money for their pressure that they need to fight fires. Everyone needs that pressure. And yet they've picked on one group and made them, at that time they needed $80 million or $90 million, and 1/3 of the increase went to 1% of the customers of Southern Nevada Water Authority.
Part of their
I
customer
totally
base
understand you.
was HOAs. They all got a doubling of a fee for that connection charge, even just for being commercial.
This is just the connection.
That was just the
Yeah, they
connection.
increased the connection
Very
charges too.
expensive.
But the fire line charge is extra offensive because those are the people that use the water the least.
Correct.
And in the meantime, people, sheiks that have estates can pour water on their lawns, and their rate never goes above $1,300 a.
My water
an
bill
acre
every
foot.
month for my building, it's a 5,000 square foot building, my water bill every month is about $700. Less than $70 of it is actual water usage. The
Yeah.
rest is all the taxes and
That's
fees
right.
and fire lines.
Yeah,
It's offensive what we
It's-
have to pay.
yeah. I have the same.
And my
problem.
neighbor next door doesn't have to pay any of it because they're a house, where my building was once a house, probably 10 years ago, and it was taken to the ground and built a commercial building. I'm in a weird part of town where it's houses and commercial.
Yeah.
So the next door neighbor to me doesn't pay any of it, and they're a commercial business because they're a 25-year-old house. And I'm only a
And they never
7-year-old.
put a fire line in.
Never had to.
Yeah.
The code changed, it
Yeah.
didn't affect them. So it's not fair that we're doing, the same businesses. I'm 4 houses up from a real estate company.
Yeah,
So they don't have to pay anything that I have to pay.
yeah, right.
I'll give you an example, sewer business, okay, sewers. Build a car wash, I own the car wash. They charge you a hookup fee. They charge how many bays you have, how many bathrooms you have, how many toilets you have in your business to get your building permit.
Is this here in
They
Las
charge-
Vegas?
They charge
Yeah.
you a hookup fee, okay? Now, several years later, like 5, 6, 7 years later, they give me an additional hookup fee of $54,000 because now they're going by water usage instead of how many bays and how many toilets and how many fixtures. Now they're saying you go by water usage. So-
Not here in Las Vegas.
Yes, they did. And I went down and had a big meeting with the head of the
No
water
way.
district down at the end of Flamingo Road.
Yeah.
Had a meeting with their lawyer and all this stuff. And I took on this lawyer. And I said, you're never gonna make it in court. You're gonna lose your goddamn ass. And I said, well, we will be. So I'm just waiting today because you're gonna lose your ass. And then they send me the bill, and I refused to pay it. I never did pay it. And about 2 years later, there was some kind of ass.
You went to
Do
court
it.
on it.
I didn't
Someone
go to
else
court,
did.
somebody else did, but I never did pay them, and they never came by and tried to do
Really?
anything.
Because
they
what they
can't
do is they put a
that.
lien on the
It's a
property.
great-
If you don't pay it, they put a lien on the property.
How? They,
How? They put a lien.
you
If you
can't
don't
change
pay
the
it,
rules after you're already playing the game.
they go to the county commission, they say, we need to put the lien on such, Clark
Really,
Feely's
you can't-
property.
You can't raise a hookup fee after you're already hooked
Correct.
up. They've
Oh.
already approved the
Well,
business
yeah.
plan.
We're not talking
The
about-
building's there,
Is
and they
that what
come
we're
back
talking
later
about?
and they change the hookup fee to water usage.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't know, I've never heard of them charging water usage. The hookup
Yeah,
fee.
that's what they
and
charge now.
And the fee you pay each for the sewer is, if you're a commercial building, you pay these enormous fees for every sink and every
Every
outlet.
fixture, yeah.
Every fixture, whereas a house pays $200 a year and that's
Right,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and so you're saying that they charged all these, they have all these charges, and then they came at you with the volume of water that you're using.
After I've been in business and the building been there for 6 years,
And
they
you-
come back and say we owe them $54,000.
And so, and that was based on the water that you used.
Because now they say that they go by water usage.
Okay, so is that what they're doing? Because I've never heard
That's
that.
what they were doing. I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
use the
This
volume
was
of water
probably-
that he would use.
This happened probably 03, 04, we were going through this crap. When I
Really?
went down there and met with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
About 05, I remember I was at another friend of mine that owned a car wash on some road over here. And the sewer people came in with this same type of crap or whatever. And he called, he was a friend with Steve Sisolak. So he
Well,
called.
then Steve Sisolak wasn't a county commissioner.
Well, I'm not sure the
in
year.
2004.
Well, maybe it was 6. When was he?
No. He became, I think, in about 2010, something like that.
Well, 6 years.
Yeah,
It could
2009
have
or
been.
2010.
All right, anyway, he called Sisolak. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. He had talked to somebody, anyway, he called Channel 8. Knapp is a friend of his.
Oh,
Knapp
okay.
put it on TV, it hit TV that night, was played twice at different, the 6 o'clock news and the 11
Yeah,
o'clock
right.
news or whatever. And then the water department went insane, the sewer people went insane.
That's
and
good,
They had
that's
some
good.
meeting and that's it, they forgot about him. He's just
Really?
in trouble, yeah. So they hunt and select, they look for people that roll over.
Correct.
And do
Yeah,
their deal.
that's right.
If you don't roll over, you're way more trouble than they can handle, because they won't win.
Yeah.
I told that lawyer he wasn't gonna win, and he said, well, we're not in court yet, are we? That was his response.
Yeah.
Well, you
Well-
can't change the rules halfway through. You already paid your connection fee.
You
And why
can't-
are they so much anyway? I mean, honestly, they should be happy they have a new customer.
Well,
Whatever, they're very expensive.
Well, I'll tell you more about the water rates and everything. They wanna raise the water rates to to force you to use less water. At the same time, they're trying to get the car washes to give incentives to people, like on a Tuesday, give like Ladies' Day or something, and give them half price. I said, wait a minute, you're raising our water rates to make us use less water, but then you want us to lower the rates that we charge for our car wash to promote the fact that we save water at a car wash rather than people washing cars in their yard, because you don't get that water back to the lake to where you can charge for it. You only get it when it goes through the sewer. So we're doing what you want to do, but you're going to penalize us and force us to use less water. How do we use less water?
Yeah.
We can't. A car takes so much
No,
water
right.
to wash it, that's it. You're not gonna force us by raising our rates to use less water. But then you got the audacity, the balls, I said, and the room's full of people, the balls to tell us to lower our rates to attract more business, so
When
you
you're
can get-
raising the
so
rates-
you can get more water back to the
But
lake.
there's always that guy
And he
that
said, well, look,
will.
I'll talk to you after the meeting, he finally goes. I'll talk to you after
Yeah.
the meeting. No, you talk to me now, while these people are listening.
Yeah.
That meeting didn't go too well. I mean, this is what they try to do.
Well,
They don't have the authority
You
to do
should,
this.
you should go out and fight these battles, because we.
Why do you
you're-
have gray
We
hair?
need
My hair's
fighters.
black. I mean,
Yeah.
it was last week, till I met Rolando.
I pay a lot of money to cover the gray.
I know, jeez.
Yeah. And the water district, what they do, what's in the paper this week? Someone stole $4.5 million worth of supplies.
We were just talking about.
So we
we
have to
went
raise our rates.
New Jersey or someplace, yeah.
Yeah.
$4.5 million. We had a guy here a little while ago, and he was saying, well, they was pushing ink. Oh, now it makes sense, because I'm saying, how do you sell $4.5 million worth of office supply? Well, ink, yeah. You know, you bought ink lately, a little friggin' thing, ink's $50.
Expensive.
Don't take much. $4.5 million they ripped off.
Yeah.
And they haven't lost their jobs yet, just
Yeah.
a little.
No, they
Paid
lost
ad-
their jobs.
No, they did lose it.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did, I thought administrative leave, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And supposedly the FBI is investigating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a judge who stole $1.5 million from me, my trust. My trust is out of state, and this in-state judge steals the money to try to pay lawyers in Nevada. They have nothing to do with anything. They have no standing. So the judge is completely illegal, and that's what they do. I go to the FBI. Well, there's a judge. No, a judge of all people. He's doing this under the color of law. His crime is worse than a bank robber that goes into a bank with a gun.
That's
Because
right.
He's doing it under the
That's
color
what
of
I always
office.
say.
Yes.
The policeman that shoots someone is committing a worse
So the
crime
person trying to close
than
you
a
down
common
with a
criminal.
badge, that's under the
No.
color of law. When the guy shows up, you tell him, you're violating the color of law, and you personally, you think you have a job, personally you're liable. Because I'm telling you, you're doing this under the color of law, and what you're doing is illegal. Now you know. So you want to keep doing it, do it, and you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna see to it, and then you go, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to go to jail, I got immunity. I got immunity. No, you don't.
Well,
Well, when you're breaking the law, you don't.
Well, they break the law, they have a great deal of leeway to do this.
Not until somebody
So-
pushes the button.
So what's another issue that you're emphasizing in your campaign?
oh, those were the top three. No one ever goes above the top three.
Oh, no one goes,
Um,
so go over the taxation, education, and regulations?
correct.
Okay.
Huh. There's all kinds of fun stuff to talk about. The regulation goes right along with, what's our hotbed right now? Bathrooms?
Yeah.
I don't know
okay.
why we're getting involved in bathrooms right now.
Are we North Carolina all of a sudden?
It's
Are we
never
doing that
been an
too?
issue. We are doing that. The legislators tried to make a law, and it's already, they're making the next law that we're trying to define who gets to go in bathrooms. And I'm gonna be honest, all these years, I never knew this was an issue. I mean, if someone's honestly looks like a woman and paid a lot of money to look like a woman, I don't care what bathroom she uses. I really have never cared. Families come in, I don't know why we have to get
Well,
excited.
the other issue in women's bathroom is you all have stalls.
Yeah,
So nobody really sees what's going on in the bathroom anyways. You're not there exposed,
well, you haven't been there at a bar at 1 a.m. in the girls' bathroom, have you?
Well, maybe
Or a
not.
little,
What happened?
that's where you make your
I
best
haven't
friends.
dressed up with a woman, as
Yeah.
a woman for a
That's where you
while.
make
No,
your
we
best
have
friend.
stalls, we're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't understand the issue. I mean, I know you all gab in there a lot, and you're up there by the sink gabbing like crazy. But anyway.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, I-
Are you one of these that,
How did it
are
take
you
you
one
5
are you
hours
one
to
of the
go
people she's talking about?
Why do all the women go to the bathroom? You're there with a co-date, 2 guys and 2 girls, and they go to the bathroom together, and it takes
Yep.
about half an hour to come back.
It's in our genetic
You know,
code,
and
we
then
go
their-
with our
and then their
girlfriends.
tone's different.
Yeah.
Now it's like they're ganging up on us now all of a sudden. Well, what happened in the bathroom?
We don't want our secrets out, that's what this comes down to.
Jesus, But anyways, so it's a ridiculous issue.
It isn't that we're
And then
boycotting
you go
stores.
you could go to a concert or something, and Jesus, you talk about people cross bathrooming, in the men's room is full of women because they can't stand
Correct.
in line over it. I mean, they're just pouring in like crazy. There's no men in there saying,
Correct. We never needed a law to protect
big
on this.
deal.
It's not a big deal.
No, and there's no sexual raping or anything going on in bathrooms that I ever heard of, I mean, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's an issue to divide us because this country with a two-party political system is divisive by the very nature of the two parties. We need to make both parties illegal operations. They're illegal organizations. Do away with it. Why are you a Republican? Or why? Well, what does it do for you? What does it do for the voter?
people should run as people.
What does it do for a
Just
voter?
an individual
Do you
person.
think
right.
that people that are
Vote for
voting,
the people,
are
not the
voting now
party.
for like Trump or Cruz or anything? They're not voting for a party, they're voting for a person.
Correct.
Yeah,
Because
that's
Trump's
right.
exposed,
That's what- yeah,
Trump's
that's right.
exposed the corruption of the political parties. So this is quite the election. We're gonna get a lot done this election, maybe. Because a lot of
Perhaps.
things are coming out.
Perhaps we will, it's strange knocking door to door. We still get a lot of that, and before
You
I
get a
say
lot
the
of what?
party, someone will say, I'm gonna vote for you because you're a Republican. Well, why don't you find out who I am first? Maybe there's someone else that identifies more with you. But there's definitely people will vote for me because I'm a woman, people that will not vote for me because I'm not a man, and those that stick to the R's. So while I appreciate those few people voting, we actually need to figure out why you're running and what you're about.
That's right.
So-
Not just what your label you have.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's very strange knocking on doors of absolute strangers and having them say, I'm gonna vote for Trump. Trump actually has done amazing things for this whole race. People
Really?
are thinking
You're
for
finding that
themselves.
out?
They're thinking for themselves, yeah. People that
Wow.
never voted are now
Boy, has that been
voting.
neat,
Oh.
because they haven't talked
Really?
about it in
Yeah.
a long time.
But now it's funny.
How
that-
are you finding those people?
Well-
Are you going to every house? Are you going?
Well, right now, because I got a primary coming up, so I'm just going to Republican houses that overall tend to vote, have voted like 3 of the last 4 elections.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll ask them who they want to vote for. 9 out of 10, Trump.
Really?
Why? And they're like, because he's saying what we've been thinking, and now we're not afraid to have our opinions anymore.
And he says it.
Really?
Yeah.
You ask him a question, he gives you the answer. Then all hell breaks loose, and then a week later, everybody's agreeing with the answer that he gave. And he gave it, boom, right like that. He didn't
Yeah.
think about it.
Correct.
He didn't check with his handlers. He just gave the answer, and everyone went nuts, And then, Jesus Christ, what, he was right.
He was
So-
right.
His instincts are correct. His inclination is always kind of like right on, because he's not
It
a
is.
politician. He
So-
just says what he thinks.
So you're going to voters who vote a lot, to frequent voters.
Right, because right now for the primary, it's a guessing game. We want to just focus our energy on those that
So-
tend to vote in the primaries.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And so why do you have the idea that he's bringing out other voters? You sort of indicated that.
Right.
You,
So we've been
That-
driving around the neighborhood, right? We see a lot of Democrats for Trump signs. We're seeing Trump
Really?
signs. Because, I have the list in my hand of which is a Democrat, Libertarian, Independent. I've got the list in my hand, and I'm going down the street going, there's a Trump sign, there's a Trump sign. These are not Republicans.
oh,
Wow.
But these people are vocal with, I'm not just going to have one Trump sign, I'm going to litter the yard with
are
Trump
you
signs.
serious?
Oh, yes.
That's cool.
And it's
That's it.
hysterical.
But look at the figures, 70% more turnout this year in the Republican primaries.
Oh, yeah.
30%
Yes.
less Democrat
Yeah.
turnout than the years before.
Correct.
So the Democrats are down 30%, the Republicans are up 70%.
Right.
Do you think that's true, 100%? Or no, some of these Democrats are, going over to the Republicans, right? Whether it's 15% or whatever
They're going to
it
be
is.
shocked to see that.
It's-
Yeah.
Well, Trump's been saying that for a long time, that all these polls are gonna be meaningless, because when the general election comes around, there's gonna be so many more people voting that have never voted before. These polls are gonna be a joke.
Yes.
So if they show Trump the polls up 2%, he might win by 30%.
But for the primary, what I think is going to happen as soon as early voting starts and you have all the other parties besides Republican that want to vote for Trump, they're going to be shocked when they go in there and realize they can't vote for him. a lot of people we're meeting don't understand this is a two-party primary. You don't get a vote for anybody.
Yeah,
Primary, but in the general election.
Right, but we gotta get through the primaries
Right,
first.
right,
I realize presidential's done.
but not for president, there's nothing
Yeah.
about the president
Right.
or the president.
And because we did our caucus, typically that when the primary vote comes around, most people that we had that huge turnout for Trump, for the caucus, we're still gonna have a very low turnout for the primary. Because on a primary year, people feel they've done their duty already, and they don't show up because they don't think judges, assembly, and senate are that important.
Oh,
So we're
that's not
predicting a record low turnout.
For a
For,
general election?
For the
and a
primary.
presidential?
Primary.
Oh, for the primary.
Yeah,
really?
no, the general's gonna be off the charts.
Oh, for your primary.
Yeah, just talking
I
about in
gotcha.
June, it's not gonna
Yeah,
be a lot of
right.
people.
'Cause the only
Really?
primary now is for the state
so,
election.
how many voters do you think you need? How many votes do you think you need in your district?
I need about 900 votes.
900?
We are
No
predicting
way.
1,700 people.
No
gonna
way.
vote. Yes, because we go off 4 years ago what happened for the primary. 4 years ago, only 1,500 people voted in the primary in my
Are you
district.
serious?
Correct. It, for one of the most
You
looked
started
at
late.
primary districts,
Is
very
that
low
one of
turnout.
the most what?
One of the,
We
it's
started
really
late.
looked at district because when you look at who could win versus, the general Democrat versus Republican,
Yeah.
this race is almost even as far as registered
Oh,
numbers are.
really? Oh.
Correct.
Oh, great.
And so
Okay.
it could go either way.
So you just have to win your primary?
I gotta win the
Yeah, right.
primary to
Yeah.
get through it.
Okay.
And then, of course, I'm hoping, the libertarians, Brett Pajamas and the American Independents, that, the nonpartisan, they actually have more numbers than both the D's and R's put
Oh,
together
really?
in my district.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh.
No way.
Yeah,
That is too much.
the independents by far are huge in my district.
That's,
Yeah.
that's really funny.
And they're gonna win it for Trump in the
Yeah.
general.
Well, did you, we would like to give you the opportunity to tell your website and if you're accepting donations and how people can make
Oh,
donations.
fantastic.
So can you tell the people about
Yeah.
that?
My name is Amy Groves. My website is based on my name. It's amygroves.org. And you can go on my website, find out more information about myself. My phone number's on there, my email's on there. You can donate from my website, because of course we're taking donations. These are expensive races to run. And I've got a Facebook page, a Twitter page. Everything is based off of my name. So
Yeah.
amygroves.org. And I really appreciate the time to be here today.
Oh, well, we really
Who's
appreciate
the
you coming
incumbent,
in.
the Democrat?
No, it's a Republican,
The
Stephen
Republican.
Silberkraus.
Oh,
He's
because
a
no one's
trainer.
running against the Democrat in the primary.
Yeah, she doesn't have a primary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Look, I brought a little book. I'm gonna show you. I made a book about my opponent, just to have a little bit of cheeky fun. It says the complete list of every major accomplishment by Assemblyman Stephen Silberkraus in the 2015 Nevada legislature. So I know you got a camera
He's the
there.
one that lied to everybody.
He's the one that lied to
He's one
everyone.
of them, one of them.
One of them.
Not the
So
only
these
one.
are what I feel are his greatest achievements.
That would lie.
So I have an entire notebook
There you
that
go,
I'm giving out
yeah,
to people.
Perfect.
So,
There you go.
a
What do
little,
those cost you?
you know what, they were
Cheap.
$1.18.
Oh, really?
And then on the back is all about myself and how I want to repeal the
That's a good
college
little
tax.
deal, yeah.
Can we get one of those?
Yeah, I'll leave these with you
Okay.
guys. So,
Way to go.
a lot
I know.
of politics is negative. We just want to have some fun with it to get our
Yeah, I
word
don't know
out.
if you got any extras, but people come in and they're taking stuff off that table all day long.
I got a few more in the car.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Put them right over
I'll leave
there.
some.
People-
Okay, way to go. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you,
And
Amy.
thank you so much for coming in, and good luck in the election, definitely.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, you've been listening to The Herd here today. We've had the special guest, Amy Groves, and got some good information for you voters. I hope you were listening. And let's vote for her, why not? She's got some good ideas, and she's a lot better than the incumbent, I'll tell you that right now, because he's a liar.
God, you really sound professional.
Well, I mean, you know,
Amy, do you
Thank
have
you,
a
Amy.
do you have a sign, a yard sign?
I do.
Give me one. I put it in my
Yeah.
friend's place over there in 10th Street.
All right. Let's see what I got in the
I try not to put signs in the newspaper to be
Oh, yeah, you gotta be on bias.